Good morning on this chilly Sunday. I'm Barbara Castellana-Stasiak, your worship associate for today. Welcome to the Morristown Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. As we gather in this unusual way, snug and warm at home, I want to extend to all a huge welcome. Today, we are joined by several special guests, including the Unitarian Society of Ridgewood, who we're thrilled to have with us. Whether you're here with us from our own Morristown UU Fellowship, Ridgewood, or any other New Jersey congregation, it's good for all of us to be together like this. This morning, our minister here at Morristown UU, Reverend Sasha Ostrom, is away for her regular Sunday off, and we warmly welcome a special guest to our virtual pulpit, Jim Scott. A prolific composer and guitarist, Jim has played at more than 700 UU churches and congregations over 4 decades of travels, and his songs are in the UU songbooks, including Gather the Spirit. He brings warmth and humor with his jazz and world music-influenced songs, as well as outspoken messages of peace, justice, and the earth. Formerly a member of the Paul Winter Consort, Jim was the composer of their celebrated Missa Gaia, Earth Mass, and sang their anthem song, Common Ground. He has toured the world, recorded 9 CDs of original music, and published a growing line of choral works, some of which our choir here has been learning. Jim was awarded an NEA grant to develop and present his multimedia concert, The Year to Save the Earth, in Worcester, Mass, with band and chorus. Although we were not able to offer that concert here yesterday as planned due to the weather, we look forward to enjoying it at a future date. Be sure to stay tuned to our publicity for our plans to reschedule. And Ridgewood UU, if you're interested in coming to hear Jim Scott in person, we'd love to have you with us for that day. One of the originators of the UU Green Sanctuary program, Jim also compiled the Earth and Spirit Songbook, an anthology of 110 songs of earth by many contemporary composers. He has toured the world, recorded 9 CDs, published a growing line of choral works. Jim, thank you so much for being with us here today. And now, come, my friends, let's gather into the warmth of this community on this chilly morning, connected in heart, even if not in the same space. And let's worship together as we listen to Jim play from the third dimension.
Just share with folks at some point. This guitar plugs in and it has a battery. The battery apparently is not working, but I hope the guitar is coming through on the microphone. Good morning, everybody. Soaring beyond doubt over Earth's solemn gravity, in noisy migration, still they long for their rest. Sun-kissed their wings as they carve the sky eternal, looking to the night when they'll sleep in their nest. Voyagers heed signs written on the wide horizon, from their third dimension find the secrets they seek. Quest for nobility, sustenance, serenity beckons to the brave as it comforts the meek. So may we see over barriers and borderlines a bond of all beings of the earth, land, and sea, dreaming the world where each life is truly valued, rendering a justice that restores humanity. Spirit of the earth, spirit of the never-ending, from the third dimension, seeing straight to the heart. Spirit moving always, just beyond our understanding, in the greater dance, may we each play our part. Spirit of the earth, spirit of the never-ending, from the third dimension, seeing straight to the heart. Spirit moving always, just beyond our understanding, in the greater dance, may we each play our part.
Good morning again. So wonderful to have us all together today. Welcome. Welcome especially to our special guest, Jim Scott, our friends at the Unitarian Society of Ridgewood, and any other UU congregations who decided to join us today. And to any newcomers and returning members here at Morristown UU who may be with us here online. We're delighted you're here with us on this unusual but special morning. We always have exciting things happening here at Morristown UU, and here's a quick look at a few. First, although all of our programming after today's service here at Morristown is canceled or postponed this week, we still have plenty going on. So be sure to take a look at our e-newsletter to check out our many events. In particular, please note that this Wednesday's RSVP deadline for our installation service for our new minister, Reverend Sasha. We have a fabulous reception planned for after the installation service, which is being coordinated by Diana Hart and her team. So please be sure to register by Wednesday so that our dedicated reception team will know how many goodies to prepare. We also have a special announcement to make this morning about our search for Morristown UU's next music director. A search team has been formed now, composed of David Horst, who will be serving as the chair, Paul Firm, Tim Davis, Beth Wilson, Mary Jo Reed, Chris Abneth, Becky Tarby, and Reverend Sasha. The team has just started meeting and is eager to hear your input about the future of music at Morristown UU. Full details about all of these and many other activities here at Morristown UU can be found in our weekly newsletter or on our website at muuf.org. This morning, we also have a special announcement for the folks at Ridgewood UU. A reminder that you will have a town hall on February 23rd, and a potluck on March 2nd, that everyone in your community is welcome to attend. And once again, we welcome everyone. We're glad you're here with us this morning. It's time now for us to light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist tradition. If you have a chalice or even a candle at home, I invite you to light it at this time. And if not, I invite you to imagine its bright flame in your mind's eye. And I will light ours here. This morning, the Reverend Sarah Lindsay from UU Ridgewood will be reading our chalice lighting words, which are by this morning's special guest, Jim Scott. The words will be on the screen, and we'll take turns reading them. We all begin together, and then Reverend Sarah will read the leader parts, and the rest of us will read the congregation parts. I'll lead in that part. And we'll all say the last line together. So, Alex, if it's possible, you can unmute everyone now, or we can just hear ourselves at home joining in. And we all say together. Can we see it? Fire of life, cleanse our spirits with heat and flame.
Illuminate our path towards beloved community.
Light the way of love and peace.
Take our vessels to the flame.
And from the kiln be raised anew.
Let this be our mantra. Melt our pain.
And burn away confusion.
Ignite our passion.
And spark our voice.
Draw us close to your hearth.
And warm our souls. Blessed be. Amen. And now, please join me for an affirmation by James Villa Blake. As is our custom here at Morristown UU, to help our littlest UUs who might not be able to read yet, I will say one line and then we'll all repeat it together. Love is the spirit of this fellowship. And service is its law. This is our great covenant. To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And now, let's join together for our opening song. If you have a copy of Singing the Living Tradition, the Gray Songbook, it's number 347, but the music is, and the words are up on the screen as well. So Jim, please lead us in Gather the Spirit.
He's got to unmute. Just want to say that chalice lighting was not written just by me, but by a workshop we did at our UU Star Island. And it's wonderful to hear that being read. I did get a new battery in here. I like to start halfway through. No, it's right there on the screen, so I won't. Gather the Spirit, harvest the power, our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour, our trials in this life appear all the same. Gather in peace compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit of heart and mind, seeds for the sowing are laid in store, nurtured in love and conscience refined, with body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit, growing in all, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun. Winter to spring and summer to fall, the chorus of life resounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Wherever you come from exciting expedition or frightening passage, escape from violence or encounter with enlightenment, experiences of ecstasy or endurance of pain, we are glad you've chosen this stop on your journey. Wherever you are going, I need this. May this time of rest, of healing, of search and discovery, and celebration of value illuminate your way. May this chalice and flame, the symbol of our free faith, be a beacon as well as a brilliance to reveal our many paths, for there is no one way. May our time together open doors, give permission, forgive sins, put to rest anxious thoughts, salve our wounds, assuage our fears, amuse our minds and open our hearts, raise up our dreams and reawaken our passions. May it help us hold high our ideals, leaving us energized, inspired, fortified, and also forewarned to meet the world that will surely challenge all that we bring to it. Wherever you come from, however you arrived here, wherever you may go forth, we're enriched by your presence. Thank you. I have in my life done a lot of music in schools and written songs with kids or for kids. And just to drop names, I went to Nicaragua it's a long time ago, back in the 80s, with Holly Near. And we traveled around to see this revolution. And they had just won an award from the World Health Organization, cutting infant mortality. That's what I was trying to come up with. And it's a Catholic country. Kids will explain this to you when you're older. And the median age of the country at that time was 13. So there were lots of kids. And I we met every day to ride a bus and go where places at this center where there were all these kids. And I loved playing with them. I didn't speak much Spanish, and they didn't speak much English. But we gestured and smiled a lot and made friends and made peace. That's what I wanted to say, made peace. Because that's how you do it. You make friends. More friends, more peace. And this has my first verse in Spanish in it. So be prepared to sing along. Well, I think I'd like to be your friend. I think that we could really have some fun. A real companion is so much better than pretend, and games are better played by more than one. So I think I'd like to be your friend. You look sort of different from me, and I guess that I was not too sure about you. You know that flowers go together. I guess that goes for people too. And I'd like to be friends with you. You see, I'm kinda new in this church, and I don't know a lot about your town. I don't know all your language, but I can play it cool. This making new friends is not as bad as it sounds. You know, I'm kind of fun to have around. I can be serious, or I can be a clown. I can make you wanna giggle when you're wearing a frown. Well, it's too much trouble to be nasty, I've found. Porque quiero ser tu amigo, y tengo otros amigos que vas a conocer. Una vez que empecemos no se sabe cuándo acabará, pero es maravilloso ver el círculo crecer, que todos nuestros amigos sean amigos. Everybody, la 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 la. International language, la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. What did he say? Well, I think I'd like to be your friend. And there's other friends I'd like you to know. Once we start, there's no telling just where it all will end. But it's great to see the circle grow. We'll get all of our friends to be friends. We won't have to be afraid when we're friends. No, we won't want to fight when we're friends. And if kids can do it, well, maybe grown-ups can be friends. We'll get the whole world to be friends. La 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 la. La 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 la. The words are easy. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Thank you, Jim. And todos amigas y amigos. Now it's time for our milestones and passages. Sometimes we come together with much on our hearts. Life is like a beautiful rose with sweetness and softness, but it can also have its thorns. Perhaps your family welcomed a new baby, or maybe lost a loved one, got a new job, or received a new diagnosis. Children have joys and sorrows in life too, things that make you happy or sad. Whatever the roses or thorns of your own life, and whatever your age, you can share them in our service by filling out our milestones and passages form, either before 9 a.m. on Sunday morning, the form that can be found in our newsletter, or when we are here in person on a written card. After each milestone and passage, please respond together, "We hold you in our hearts." This morning, Sheila Battaglia would like to share the joy that her youngest son just passed his board of review and is officially an Eagle Scout, like his two older brothers. We hold you in our hearts. This morning, it's with sadness that we share the news that longtime member Judy Harris passed away on Monday morning, February 3rd, at the age of 81. Details about her memorial service will be provided at a later date. We hold Judy's partner, Michael Hacker, her family, and all who loved her in our hearts during this time of grief. We hold you in our hearts. Let's take a quiet moment now for prayers and meditations of our own hearts. Close your eyes, get comfy in your chair, breathe. Hear the breaths of those around you, this community that holds you. Feel the spirit of life holding us all in this still moment. Let's take 3 deep breaths together and then a moment of silence. Amen, and blessed be.
With every story told, our friendship becomes art. Each passage of life is a gateway to the heart. We are one in joy and sorrow, and the music of our learning is danced in love and harmony with each day of Earth's turning. I'll bet you can do that with every story told. With every story told, our friendship becomes art. Our friendship becomes art. Each passage of life is a gateway to the heart. We are one in joy and sorrow. We are one in joy and sorrow, and the music of our learning. And the music of our learning is danced in love and harmony. Is danced in love and harmony with each day of Earth's turning. Oh my goodness. So many papers, so little time. I used to live in Eugene, Oregon. This is set in the Northwest for anyone who might see it as exotic. Driving a bit too fast, I maneuver the curves on this cement ribbon deep at the feet of solemn giants. 2 hours past the Portland Bridge in a dreary Washington drizzle. I've made good time, as they say, in the company of huge Douglas fir bodies carted on tractor-trailer hearses. The procession draws little obvious response from their stoic relatives lining I-5 for the occasion. Aside from my discomfort at being associated with this funeral, I do feel a distinct northward impetus passing the dead Trojan nuclear reactor, sedated would be more like it, that still sulks across the Columbia River in Oregon. The speed limit has dropped to 55, but I'm following an aggressive sporty type and struggling to keep up in my larger minivan body. We're in more company and then more. Traffic through the Olympia area brings the shock of sudden overpopulation. Musing about whether we belong here in the first place, I'm now distracted by the necessity to respond to the whims of so many other humans and their heavy armor. The lines are drawn, but survival of the fittest is more the rule. Some vague force ahead is influencing our progress. I'm reminded of the Hindu story of following God up the hill. In single file, the travelers can only see the back of the one immediately ahead. Only when the path curves do they get a glimpse of the divinity right in front of them. They can't see God for the human in the way. Over a hill in a sweeping curve to the right, I can see what has bunched us up. A state police cruiser going exactly 55. And ahead, no one. A great expanse of empty interstate. United only in our disregard for this particular law, we are now a seething army of bees, hardly swarming in anger or with any outward purpose for that matter. My interference runner has led us right into the hot politics of the honey-drunk comb. For the moment, he's nowhere to be found, but then turns up between the Safeway truck and the pickup that shouts, "Owned and driven by an American, protected by Smith & Wesson." All we steel beasts wear our affiliations on our hindquarters and manage more congeniality than our bumpers might suggest. We coexist in a not so volatile as carbonated mix, bubbling under the benign disinterest of our state-appointed cork. He could hardly, I think it's a he, could hardly respond to us in a mass arrest. "All right, everybody, pull over." Though we have broken the law to get here, we are now relatively secure in our sheer numbers. Not that much more than impersonal than those big rooms where we all wear name tags and make no eye contact. "The goddess is alive" rolls right beside "Don't blame me, I voted for Stein." More likely to be inflammatory locally. "Save a logger, shoot a spotted owl" shares the road, ignoring Earth First. But just then, "Live by your hopes, not your fears" goes boiling up through the brew, only to redefine his specific gravity right under the cruiser's surface tension. Some of the leadership potentials seem to be stricken with conscience at the top and choose to fade back into the anonymity of the depths. I've done that. This headlong flight of technological revolution toward oblivion monopolizes our concentration, with only the frail dome-lighted beacon of common sense and restraint holding back the flood for today. All but fleeting glimpses of that freedom up ahead, and the natural beauty beside is obscured by our self-imposed steel environment. And once our competitive motivations wear off, we travel at exactly the same speed, appearing to each other to be sitting together in a theater at a boring show. Now this is the phenomenon Einstein warned us about, or was it Heisenberg? Since we are always moving, we're incapable of fully appreciating our relativity to each other, much less our greater direction. Here, rolling down a ribbon, on a shifting continent, on a spinning planet, tearing through space, in an expanding universe that may be, in fact, somewhere folding in on itself. We should savor this moment. But suddenly, with lights flashing, the cruiser roars away, within seconds disappearing over the next hill, leaving us in shock to refocus on the ancient pro-choice and I vote Volvo, now expelling a good deal of steam and smoke from under the hood. No one stops to commiserate as the Volvo retires to the breakdown lane. Communion over, we're back to our own personal trajectories, choosing between military base exits and continuing north into Tacoma or west over the Narrows on Galloping Gertie Bridge. Could we have behaved differently? And might we, in our magnetism, have influenced each other? Unburdened by compassion for our fleeting community, most of us are free again to dream of destination. Though truth is, this may be all that life really has to offer. The journey. I have to look at the order of service. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. It's Sunday morning. There's a dog here who is just growled. I hope he doesn't, that an Amazon delivery person doesn't come and he barks. There's no evil mailman today. Bombarded as perhaps you were by the news a while back of not just Iran, Iraq, Sudan, Somalia, Ukraine, Israel, Gaza. I wanted to write a song, and then I just got off that subject. I've already done that. I have plenty of anti-war songs. War doesn't do any good. More about that later. But it occurred to me that here in our privileged and abundant society, I know people who live in a war zone in their own heads, in their own families. I am waiting in the silence. I am waiting for the dawn. I am often found in reverence, though from many sources drawn. It is not mine to fight for justice, for it will not be won this day. I am peace, and I am waiting for the lost to find their way. You'll not find me set in judgment of the vain or of the weak, but I rise to meet the weary with the solace that they seek. Still I have not fed the hungry, nor strewn wealth among the poor. I am peace, and bring but mystery, and the patience to endure. I cannot save the suffering from their anger and their pain, only open doors of insight, so the healing comes again. To the proud I am elusive, to the humble I am near. May the broken rise and look beyond the trappings of their fears. I am found among the seasons, autumn's death and spring's rebirth, as relentless their momentum as the turning of the earth. All are welcome in my presence, for only love can conquer hate. I am peace, and for the harvest I have planted and will wait. Our collective challenge these days is to overcome the well-funded lies and hatred. In the contest between truth and lies, lies won. Now we have an administration of lies. I won't mention any names so we don't lose our tax-exempt status. We should make no mistake, though, these lies are well funded. Propagating of hatred and denial of truth and even history, climate emergency, denial of evolution. This investment in ignorance costs a lot. Scientists give us a decade or two before we destroy the life support system of this earth. I heard the other day we could destroy the ocean by 2030. That's 5 years. In some places, it's already too late. Much is already lost. The question is, I guess, how much longer than too late will we wait? But what could I do to move you to action in this hour? I've made a study lately, and that means I Googled it, of how to deal with lies. And I'm not going to tell you much about it. You can look. I think we all know. There's all kinds of information. There's lists of action. There are strategies. And, just screaming, "You're lying," doesn't work. The liar has probably already said that about you. The advice is mostly in the context of interpersonal relationships, and there's a presumption there that the liar is redeemable. Oh, how are we going to apply that? If there is no redemption, then it's resort to law and order. The liar has to be removed from the position where the lies can harm us. Law and order. That's taken a hit lately. I said we're going to talk about peace today, about barriers to peace. Here's the results of many studies. You can Google all this too. Just a little bit of a list. Poverty is the most important element. Not religion. Wars are between the haves and the have-nots. Lack of education and lack of communication. So poverty. In Burundi, we had a big war. For example, there was a rich agriculture, but unequal access. So a vicious, horrible war broke out. Then after an amazing peace process, what began as a literacy program showed that poverty was behind every inequality. Lack of access was eased by financial inclusion. Programs, courses where ordinary people learned how to start savings groups. Now, lack of education, well, that affects health, longevity, social mobility. Solve the lack of education, and this builds understanding. A lot has been invested in removing much education in this country, our country. Well, that brings us to the next step, lack of communication. Education alone doesn't fix it. But after starting during, that's what I wanted to say, the Burundi War, groups came together to talk. Brave people, visionary people, this is visionary, creating a safe place where words are heard and don't become violence. How will we create that? Well, not to discourage anyone, but a study of the richest families of the world revealed an appalling thread. Across many different cultures, the ultra-rich see themselves as superior beings. Maybe we knew that. Yes, that's racist, though they deny it if you would use the term. But in deeper conversations, they reveal that they see the poor as dirty and stupid and lucky if they're given a job. Lesser beings. We need to help them see it differently. Them. Wait, could that be us I'm talking about? The privileged. Do you actually see your problems as more important, sometimes, as more important because of this perspective lurking? At the Worcester Islamic Center, which is just down the street, I live in Worcester, Massachusetts, where I go now and then, it's the most integrated place I've ever been. People of all races and nationalities. I don't like that women are in the back, but I'll leave out my protests. I have felt there is a culture of peace there, and I'd like to have more of that. The Imam said one day, how do we love the person who hates us? How do we love the person who wants to kill you? He went on to give some examples. He said, well, let's consider the prophet, what he did. And I didn't write this here, but I'm going to just tell you. He said, well, the prophet was gathered with his friends in a building where the crowd was outside wanting to kill those people. And he said, well, you stay here. I'm going to go out the front door. They won't kill me, although they want to kill you. You go out the back door. So he went out and walked down the road, and in his white robe garments, the crowd threw rocks at him. He was bloodied, but he saved his friends. That's one story. Another is that he was on the way to prayer, and he would pass a woman in a fruit stand who always swore at him, spit at him, threw rotten fruit at him. And one day he came by, and she wasn't there. And he said, asked the person, oh, where's that woman? Oh, she's sick. And he went to her to help her heal. So the Imam is saying, how could we be like this? The way we might say, what would Jesus do? As COVID persisted, I'll admit I was in kind of a panic, looking for help to figure out how to keep going as a musician. I was out of work. I decided to talk to a business advisor. The guy I met sold himself as enlightened, holistic, even kind of counterculture, which appealed to me. Listing my priorities, I said, I was working on a Get Out the Vote song. To make a video of it was urgent. His response was, well, Jim, every election people say it's the most important one ever. So apparently he sees himself as unaffected by the possible demise of democracy, or in fact, demise of the earth as we know it. And then he said, there's always been starving people in the world. Okay, that's it. I won't be working with you. Exactly why should there continue to be starving people? I call this the ignorance of privilege. You and I are so privileged. I'll say that again. You and I are so privileged. We're safe, relatively safe, from the folks that say the election was stolen. We're pretty unaffected by those who say there was no insurrection, invasion of the Capitol, from folks who want to take away a woman's right to care for her own body, for folks who want to take away the right to vote, for those who want to erase the existence of anyone trans or intersex. We're safe until one of those things takes our security away, like with me and my trans son. Ignorance of privilege has led to good folks who don't know history, don't want to know. It cost a lot of money to keep people in poverty and uneducated. Those uninformed, I didn't say ignorant, but good folks, our neighbors, our family, are not the enemy, but they can be dangerous. Maintaining lies endangers us. What we must do is speak to the lies. There's no option but interaction, engagement. We must. It's our job. The word for it, I think, is diplomacy. It's slow. It's frustrating. It's discouraging. Ever since I was in my uncle's army back in the Vietnam conflict, I have been a peacemaker. I've studied a lot. Marshall Rosenberg and nonviolence and so on, studied peace. That it doesn't work, that diplomacy. I heard an actor playing a diplomat in a movie, and he says, diplomacy, it doesn't work, it doesn't work, it doesn't work, until it does. Talk is therapy, healing, the communication of some reality truth, communication of, say, the pain, the suffering that comes with being oppressed can change a heart, eventually a mind. And look, I know you don't want to. Neither do I. We don't like them, and they don't like us. But it works. It's proven. It works. Slowly, but it works. So this is the beauty and the power of art. A work of art allows us to see someone else's perspective, even if we disagree with it. Art is our standard of living. We need to make an art of our arguments for life, love, sustainability, peace. This is loving communication. And right now it takes courage. It doesn't need to be done in anger. And in fact, that will not help. I didn't say it was easy. Well, I just wrote this song. That's not it. All that talk in this song fits in less than 20 minutes. I timed it. So, we've been so bombarded lately. It's discouraging. Like, how do you keep going? Nobody said it was going to be this hard. Things that we were privileged with, suddenly we're not privileged with anymore. Things are getting tougher. Usually you write a story after you're done. You know, I had a hard time, but it was sort of victory, and that makes a good story. You write the story in the middle, it's just complaining. Probably make a good story later. Nothing good about it till it's done. Turns out to be a steeper hill, a really heavy stone. Best intentions seem to have left me here alone. This never works, and it'll never work until it does. All's lost until it's won. New obstructions, new defenses, that's nothing new. There's a light on the horizon, gotta see this through. One thing about challenging times, they live up to their name. You'll find out who your friends are and who they aren't. So different, also the same. Asking more of you than ever, comfort and safety lost. Not worth the time, not worth the cause, not worth the risk, but something inside of you gets down to nothing left but to see this through. In the contest for the most pain endured, so much for justice, so much for human rights. The forgiveness and the healing, drowning in the thrill of the fight. see the way to peace, the process slow and long. Gotta try to see the other side, even when you know they're wrong. Reluctance, hesitation goes without mention, but the most moral human gesture is just attention. Amid lies and denial, hold tight to what is true. No better time than this to see this through. You could turn away, but the beacon shines clear and true. There's a chance we could see this through. So there's a couple more words that I wanted to just say to leave you with. Yeah, physics. To change things, it doesn't take perfect harmony. Just enough harmony to deal with the disharmony. You can go into a place of disharmony and know that you got enough there to deal with it, because it's the physics principle of cohesion. A little harmony will harmonize the rest. Courage to test our harmony these days. I didn't hear anybody say it would be easy. Thank you.
And thank you, Jim, for giving us good words to think about. We've come now to the time in our service each Sunday when we pause to offer our gifts of financial support. Whether you are a member at Morristown UU Ridgewood, or any other congregation joining us this morning, your donations make all that we do in our congregations possible and also help make our world a better place. Each Sunday here at Morristown, we give at least half of the money we collect to an organization that's doing good work to advance our Unitarian Universalist values of love, justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity in a world that hungers for them now more than ever. Today's offering here at Morristown UU will be split 50-50 with New Jersey Together, a multi-faith, multi-issue, and strictly nonpartisan community organizing coalition of congregations, nonprofits, neighborhood organizations, and parent groups to develop leaders and strengthen communities and seek justice. You may give on our website as you listen to the offertory music, or wait until after the service to do so. To give at Morristown UU, just go to our website at muuf.org and click Give in the main menu. For our friends at UU Ridgewood who wish to give this morning, you'll see that Reverend Sasha has put instructions into the chat on how to use their method of collecting. And if you are joining us this morning from another local UU congregation, please go to your congregation's website to give to your community there. Thank you for your generosity. And let's think of the good that our generosity can do as Jim sings to us about harmony.
Push the mute button. Peace is a rolling sea, so full of mystery. I feel its harmony in ebb and crest. Peace is a work of art that moves the open heart. Peace is a place to start and final rest. Harmony of harmony, I hear you sing to me. Let it wash over me, let it begin. Harmony of harmony, unfolding melody, I am your instrument, let peace begin with me. Peace is a beacon bright that brings us inner sight, a radiating light, conquering fear. Peace is the wild bird's call, the painted leaves in fall. Peace is the health of all, I feel it here. Harmony of harmony, I hear you sing to me. Let it wash over me, let it begin. Harmony of harmony, unfolding melody, I am your instrument, let peace begin with me. We've gone a bit long in this service. I am guilty of trying to put too much into the service. I'm going to say this. Creativity is the alternative to violence. Creativity is the alternative to dejection, to anger, to alienation, all of those things. When we understand that we're creative, we are, as we are part of this earth, we are creativity creating. We have a way to create peace, create harmony. I meet people, I do workshops where people come to a workshop and say, well, you got your work cut out for you. I don't have an artistic bone in my body. Or no, even to say, I don't have a creative bone in my body. I've heard that. Want to say, oh, did you make that up yourself? Like how did you decide what clothes to put on this morning? So we're creative, and we got to know it. We're challenged now with leadership taking us off a cliff, if you ask me, and it's going to take major creativity. I see groups forming as I visit churches, different churches all the time. I'm seeing activist groups form. I'm also seeing discouraged people that have come saying, I need community and such. So let us not be discouraged. Let's know there's enough creativity to deal with this. By the way, that was a world premiere, that song, Just Gotta See This Through. I hadn't even practiced it that much. Hope that wasn't obvious. So it's been a delight to be with you, and I do want to mention that I hope to come back in 2 weeks to do the concert. I got a National Endowment grant to create this program I'm calling The Year to Save the Earth. And I'm wondering about the title. Is that too serious? People are thinking, oh, it's too, I don't want to just be ground down. Well, no, there's a lot of there's some take your medicine songs. There's some stuff about what's wrong, but there's also lots of celebration and hundreds of pictures that we've spent about a year collecting, all the pictures that illustrate the song. So it's a multimedia program. It might be on the 23rd. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn. On the afternoon of the 23rd, Sunday in 2 weeks. So stay tuned. Love to have you. Love to see you. And boy, I have just been so dry this morning. Pardon me. Get that voice working. My wish for you, as now we part, is for greater peace to fill your heart with dreams as vast as starry space. So hurt and anger know no place. May truth be shared and wounds be healed, and joy for living be revealed. Through every fate and circumstance, may hope lead weary steps to dance, and may your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, then softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night. May fears be turned with keen insight to wisdom for what's just and right. Where sorrow grows, compassion strong, and pains will pass before too long. May the bounds of our diversity serve a richer harmony. May courage hold your heart so true to smile on love when it smiles on you. And may your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night. This turns out to be a 4-part round. Ha ha ha. But I know we can do it in at least 2 parts. If you'll self-select, you know who you are. If you can sing the second part, I'll show you where it starts. If you're unsure, stick with me. And may your life be as a song, not yet, resounding. And may your life to sing awake the light. There's the music. Then softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night, ever dancing circles in the night, ever dancing circles in the night, ever dancing circles in the night. When Wisdom was a striking young man, he met a beautiful woman named Love. Now, I'm not really sure who was the man and who was the woman. Maybe they were the same sex. I'd like to keep you, said Wisdom. You can't own me, said Love, but I love you anyway. What would it cost to know you'd always be there? Asked Wisdom. Don't ask such questions, said Love. Just look at the stars. Why? Wisdom pondered. Are they telling us something? Oh, chill out, chided Love, which made Wisdom happy in a funny sort of way. And And so it was that wisdom fell in love with love. And thus became truly wise. Let's go in peace.
Thank you so much, Jim, for being with us today. This concludes our service this morning. But now you're invited to join us for social hour. It would be lovely to be able to have our different congregations meet one another and get to know each other a bit, so please stay if you can. We'll be staying right here in this Zoom, so you can ignore any previous instructions you saw about having to go to a different Zoom. We'll all be right here. And you can join us for, let's see. Yeah, just stay here and